A levy is when the IRS freezes a taxpayer's bank account. It often comes without warning and is extremely disturbing. The taxpayer logs into his online bank account or tries to use his credit card and has a massive negative balance or has the credit card declined. Now, typically in these situations, the taxpayer doesn't realize that IRS bank freezes work very differently than something like a civil district court bank freeze or a child support bank freeze or any other type of garnishment. When your account is frozen by the IRS, the money actually doesn't go to the IRS. It sits in your account for 21 days. Most of the time, and when I say most, I mean 99% plus of the time, an IRS levy is not meant to actually get money. It's meant as a wake-up call to the taxpayer to come in and talk to the IRS about the debt that is owed. Now, the first question is always, how do I get this levy off me? And the procedure is actually fairly simple, but it's a little obscure. The first thing you need to do is you need to go to your bank. Your bank will have a levy notice. Now, that is critical because on the bottom of the levy notice, on the bottom right-hand corner for the IRS and the bottom left-hand corner for the Louisiana Department of Revenue, there will be an agent name and an agent phone number and an agent address. This tells you several things. The first thing you should look for is to see if that agent's name is actually the Director of Collections for either the IRS or for the Louisiana Department of Revenue. If it is, then that means you've been hit by a computer levy, and we go down one track. If it is not, if it is actually an agent's name, that means a human targeted you and levied you on purpose, and we go down a separate track. On the track with the agent, only the agent who placed the levy can remove it. We refer to this as the agent rule. So it is imperative to mobilize all troops to contact that agent at their office, on their cell phone, wherever they may be, to get in touch with that agent and to tell that agent to remove the levy and that we want to cooperate. Now, my office has mobile numbers, office suite numbers for almost every agent who works in the Louisiana division of the IRS and who works at the Louisiana Department of Revenue. But if you're on your own, it's a little bit harder, but you must track that agent down. That agent is the only person who can remove the levy. If you've been levied by a computer, it's a little bit different. If you've been levied by a computer, generally your balance is probably lower, and you generally deal with it through what is known as the PPL or PPS. Both the Louisiana Department of Revenue have this, as does the IRS. Now, one of the downsides of these two things is that only an attorney can call these numbers, but they're special numbers set up so that an attorney can bypass the hold that the main Louisiana Department of Revenue or IRS numbers. Once we get someone on the phone at the PPS or the PPL, we check in on the case and ask them for a list of documents. Now, here is where the agent levy and the computer levy come back together to be in pretty much the same place, and both react pretty much the same way. They will give you a list of documents and deadlines to determine your ability to pay and to determine if you can get into a settlement. And if you provide those documents, generally, when I say generally, I mean 95% plus of the time, they will remove the levy. Again, the levy does not actually take your money immediately, and a lot of people make this mistake, but it only holds it for 21 days. So the clock is ticking in the case of an agent levy to find the agent, get the list of documents, and get them the documents, or to get through to the department or to the IRS and get the person in DC those documents so they can release the levy prior to the 21 days. In extremely rare cases where the agent won't lift the levy for whatever reason, or the computer division of the IRS won't release the levy for some reason, you can contact the taxpayer advocate. Now, in a form of gallows humor, the taxpayer advocate's form is form 911, but if you invoke the taxpayer advocate, you will get an advocate at the IRS or at the Louisiana Department of Revenue assigned to you who will advocate to the agent on your behalf to remove the levy. Certain causes of this include medical distress, business impact. If you have to pay employees and those employees won't get paid, that is almost always a good enough reason to pop a levy. But basically, what's important to understand and take away from this is, one, go to your bank and get a copy of the levy so you get the name of the agent. And two, it's almost always a mechanism used to poke you, to get your attention, to get you to deal with the situation, not to actually get your money. You have 21 days to solve your problem before they actually take your money. An attorney can greatly assist you in finding all these documents, in tracking down your agent, and in getting the levy removed.